hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Does anyone does anyone have a fantastic Monday? Yeah, we do. Just because it's the start of the work week doesn't mean that you can't still enjoy your day and have a blast doing so. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. I've got all kinds of folks already out here. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Let's see who we got before we move on to other things. Maureen, Marilyn, Anthony, Window, Wendy. We met before. David Buchanan, Cross Track, Joyce Grinstead. Hey, Joyce. Chickadee. Well, welcome, Chickadee. I see y'all. And Jake Patton. Wow. And Paula Scar. All my friends, new and old out here. Thank you. I appreciate the support. I'm so happy that I see y'all out here on every Monday. You know, I asked, can you have a fun Monday? Well, yeah, you can. Out here, I'd like to think we do. It certainly brightens up every Monday. So thank y'all. Thank all of y'all out here. They're out here right now. Those of you who watch on replay later, thank you as well. One of these days, y'all got to come out here and say hello. Shoot me some questions. Y'all know me. I'm ready to talk about anything, right? Just talk. So welcome aboard to all of y'all. Now, before we go any further, I'd be remiss if I didn't throw out a big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all the reality fans around the world. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about reality TV. Excuse me. Didn't need to do that. I need a little cough button. You know, the professionals have a little cough button. I need to come up with something like that. But now I wanted to talk about reality TV just a little bit. We're going to talk Big Brother. I have a feeling y'all probably have all kinds of stuff you want to talk about on Big Brother, but a little bit different as well. Because did y'all know on this day in the year 2000, which seems so long ago, 21 years ago, and yet I remember as a kid thinking 2000 was like the future when we're going to have spaceships and things like that. But on this day in the year 2000, we had the finale, the final tribal council for the very first season of Survivor. With Richard Hatch and Sue Hawkins and Rudy. It was so amazing watching that show. I don't know how much some of y'all were watching back then. Some of you maybe not so much. It seems like ancient history. But before we had Survivor, we had reality TV. But it's like the real world on MTV, which was fun to watch. But it's just people living together. There wasn't that huge grand prize at the end. So suddenly they came up with this idea for reality TV where you actually competed against each other instead of just having to live with each other, and you won money at the end. Survivor was the first, and just a month or two later, we got Big Brother. And who would have known that 4 years later, my brother was on a reality TV show, and 21 years later, old Boss Hogg was on a reality show as well. Who would have guessed it? Who would have thunk it? Not me. Not me at all. You never know how life is going to turn. So again, 21 years ago today, we had the finale of Survivor, and reality TV sorry guys, reality TV hadn't been the same since then. So yeah, the snake will eat the rat. David, you got it figured out, right? That was Sue Hawkins, one of the most famous final speeches that we've seen in a long time. I remember Richard Hatch at the very start of that season. Everyone else was trying to work and fit in, and he's saying, yeah, I don't think it's so much about trying to work and everything. It's just about trying to survive strategically towards the end. So he knew how to play the game even before anyone else had even thought of it. So yeah, no, it's really good. And I don't want to talk forever about Survivor, but it's such a great couple of last decades we've had with reality TV. All right, let's see. What else is going on, guys? A couple of things I want to point out. Let's see. First of all, we talked about Survivor. All right, what have I been up to? We're going to talk about Big Brother. Y'all want to talk about it, right? Joyce saying in 2000 I was in college. I'd gotten out a little bit earlier. Year 2000, I was married. I had my kids and all. I remember back in 1976, the bicentennial of America, 200-year anniversary. I remember watching fireworks with my family. We started talking about, somehow got on to 2000. I was like, man, in the year 2000, I'm going to be 35 years old. I'm going to be so old back by the time we get there. Well, now a few years have passed since then. It doesn't seem like that far ahead in the future. 2020 was when people talked about it. That's where we'd have all our own flying personal spaceships and we'd be on Mars and Venus and everywhere else. We're not there yet, but we're heading that way, right? And that's got me excited. All right, so beyond watching a whole lot of Big Brother, that's all I do. That's in some ways it seems like all I do. But in addition to Big Brother, been busy doing a couple other things. Well, let's see. Let's talk about this because it came up. Paula said, "Have you gone out for any other reality TV shows?" No, I haven't. I thought about it. I always thought I'd try it for Survivor before. Well, no, I take that back. I did try it for The Amazing Race once with my brother Jim, uh, and we went and showed up. We did a video with a casting call and everything. Nothing ever came of it. But yeah, I tried out for that once. I know once or twice I did casting calls for like The Bachelor here in Houston, and Sharon and I, my wife and I, went and we just watched the people show up just because we're people, peoples. Well, we just wanted to see what kind of people we're going to be trying out and everything. So we've done that before. But yeah, no, this is it. Now I was on Bozo's Big Top as a 4-year-old. I was sitting in the peanut gallery and actually got to watch TV being made way back then. So yeah, that was the only other TV I've ever been on that I can think of. Yeah. So this is just kind of one of those flukes that happened. It was a lot of fun. I didn't expect it, but I think that kind of made it that much more exciting because I really wasn't counting on it happening, and it just kind of happened. All right, JP, in 2000, were you boss hog or still climbing the hog corporate ladder? What was I doing in 2000? I was still climbing the corporate ladder a little bit. I was traveling all over the world. And in 2000, I was spent a lot of time in South America, Venezuela, Brazil. Brazil's a fun place to go to. Going over to the Middle East, the Far East. I was going everywhere. My wife can confirm about 1 week out of every 4 weeks, I was off somewhere doing some work in the oil field. So yeah, I don't know. JP, I'd like to think that I was kind of boss hog even when I was just a little kid. At least my mom would say I probably thought I was boss hog back then. So, but yeah, I was working hard back in 2000. And Shelly saying, "Do you like a rapist?" Oh yeah, I love them. I absolutely love them. A rapist, fried plantains with some sour cream alongside them and all. There used to be a Venezuelan food truck here in Houston that I used to love going to. Oh, it's so fantastic. Yeah, I like a rapist. I absolutely do. Natalie Negrati and I actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago when we were together for that Big Brother boxing competition as well. All right, couple of things. I'll talk about this forever, and then y'all are going to say, man, he just got on one topic, and that was into it. Our train car operator car, did they give you a printed list for food you wanted for the show? Are you talking about for Big Brother? I assume you are. Kind of. With regards to HOH baskets, while we're in sequester, there was a long form we had to fill out saying, what kind of foods do you like? What kind of foods do you not like? What's your favorite dessert? What's your favorite fruit and vegetable? Just all kinds of questions. And it wasn't specifically for HOH. I assumed it was just for the storage room. I don't know. We had to fill out a long list of everything we liked and didn't like. And I think that they use that list then to try to bring in foods for the HOH and also just for the storage room itself that we would like and all of that. So no, it wasn't really a printed list, but they did know what all of us liked or didn't like. So I guess in some ways it was. And Shannon Warren, did you retire? No, I didn't retire. I wish. Hey, if I had won the big prize on Big Brother, maybe. But no, I didn't retire. I still work. I just take advantage of naps whenever I can, so I can do the Big Brother and the working as well. Joyce is saying, when do you think the triple eviction will happen? I saw something mentioned that they've got a 2-hour block of Big Brother set aside September 7th. Someone out there, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say September 7th, maybe. About the time we would expect there to be a Final 7 competition. So that could be where we'll have a double, a triple. You know, we had triple last year, so maybe so again this year. I don't know. I'm not sure how sold I am on a triple, especially at that point in time, because here's the thing. Around the time that we're on a Final 7 area, this Cookout Alliance is so strong, right? They're working together. They're saying they're going to stick with each other till the very end. I think about the time you get to Final 7, someone is going to say, oh my gosh, this is getting ready to turn into the Cookout Alliance men versus Cookout Alliance women, and we don't want to be the person that doesn't have the numbers to survive. So I could see something like, I could see Tiffany saying, hey, if Claire's still there, I could see Tiffany saying, hey, why don't we keep Claire with 4 women? Let's go ahead and use our numbers right now to boot out one of the guys to make sure that not only is it Cookout Alliance that gets to the end, but it's Cookout Alliance women. So with that being said, right around Final 6, Final 7, I think you're going to have a whole lot of fireworks, a whole lot of fighting and conspiring and everything. And I don't want to miss that. If we have a double eviction or even a triple, where suddenly you go from 8 to 6 in 2 hours or 7 to 5 in 2 hours, I think you miss a lot of the strategy, the conspiring, the fighting, everything that's going to go on. So as much as it makes it pretty dramatic to do the double eviction or triple, we're going to miss out a little bit from a gameplay standpoint if we see that. Yeah, sorry, guys. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I remember our double eviction. Boy, do I remember our double. We had thought it was going to take place forever and ever and ever. Get a little drink. I didn't park there. We thought every week we'd say, this is the week for the double eviction. This is going to be the week where something happens. But every week it didn't until finally we got to, what was our final 7, I guess, when I was on the block with Jessica. Jessica went home. Next thing you know, it's a double. Nicole wins the HOH, and then I win the veto, so we controlled the power that week. Wow, what a glorious, glorious week. But I got to say, as fun as that was, I kind of would have liked having that veto power for a couple of days over a weekend, just to force everyone to come up to me and beg and plead and say, what can we do, Cliff? Please let us do whatever so you'll pull us off the block and help us survive. It would have been fun to have a lot more time, so I could have maybe worked 1 or 2 more deals, figured out who was sincere, who wasn't. The game would have been different if we didn't have the double eviction that particular week. But hey, it's another one of the twists, right? Window Wendy's, they need to do the triple eviction like we do in Canada. Last year's was lame. Yeah, well, part of ours last year, I hate that they knew it was a triple at the beginning of the episode. And I still don't know if that was planned. I think it may have been just a mistake. The way they still had it up on the screen. But yeah, you're right, Wendy. I love Canada's triple eviction. At this point, I don't even remember exactly how it worked. I just remember there's a lot more drama. It was pretty intense watching it all take place. So we did have that. David Buchanan, there won't be a battle back due to the ongoing pandemic and such. I think you're right, David. Now, here's the other thing, too. In addition to COVID and its effect, they don't want people out of the house and then coming back in. But in addition to that, my season was 99 days. Supposedly this season is only 86 days. So you don't have nearly as much time if you bring someone back into the house to do it. Now, if you had a triple eviction, do you still create time? Well, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, a triple means you basically save a week over a double, but you're still a week short. So I don't know if they make the numbers work just right to have a battle back. So no, I don't think they will either. I think once you're out of the house, you're out of the house. But I have seen inside, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm going to not do this. But I have seen some people who are a little bit worried about going home this week who've been suggesting, saying, "Hey, there could be a battle back. Be careful if you send me out that you're comfortable that I may come back in and." Do you want me to come back in, win my way back in the house, and then we got to deal with each other? So there's at least a threat of a battle back being thrown out inside the house to try to make people a little more cautious about some of the decisions they're making. But yeah, we'll see. Ma's saying there hadn't been a battle back in a while. Let's see. When was the last battle back we had on Big Brother? Was that maybe season 21? I can't remember who won that. Oh, yeah, I can't remember who won that battle back. It was me. It was a glorious, wonderful, amazing night. Yeah, no, Ma, it has been a while. I like the battle backs. I like someone having another opportunity to get back in the game. As long as it's done, I don't know. I liked mine where it was early in the season. I would hate for someone to miss out on a whole lot of episodes, a whole lot of weeks, and then come back in and not really have to face the week-to-week battle. So, I wouldn't want someone that was booted on week 1 getting back in week 7 or 8, something like that. As long as you keep it just a 2-3 weeks, something, then that's okay. But yeah, they kind of got away from it. And part of it's because of COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, I think we'd still be having more battle backs. But it is what it is. I'm just happy that we still have Big Brother going on. Train operator question: do you have the option of buying or getting any of this stuff from the set? No, I don't. I don't think so, Trey. Maybe I should have asked that question, but I don't think so. Once the season's shut down, now we got a box of some of our memorabilia, some of our uniforms, costumes, and my Big Brother key and things like that. And I know that CBS has an online store. If you want to get your own HOH robe, you can go buy an HOH robe or some of the water bottles we had, things like that. CBS sells it. But I know during my season, we had some wire structures that were antler heads, kind of like on the side of the wall. And I always thought, man, that'd be fun to have. I'd love to buy that if I could. But no, they never gave us the option to buy anything from there. I don't know what happens to all the stuff. I don't know if wouldn't it be cool if you could just go by some secondhand store near the CBS studios and find all the old Big Brother stuff? Maybe. I have a feeling it's a movie complex, studio, theater, whatever. I have a feeling everything that's in there probably gets put back into storage somewhere. It may show up on some Magnum or Hawaii 5 or some other CBS show at some point on down the road, which would be kind of cool. I think it'd be pretty neat if I'm sitting there watching watching Bull, and next thing I know, he's sitting on the boat room bed that I spent so much time contemplating life and strategies and things like that on. So that'd be cool. And then there are other things too. Hearts of Reality is a huge, wonderful charity that benefits kids that are visiting Disney World, kind of a Make-A-Wish type foundation. And they take a lot of items and they auction them off to raise money for Give Kids the World also. So you can see some stuff out there also. That'd be fun. All right, let's see. Where is Orwell? Orwell's hanging out somewhere. He's in his... I hate that they didn't bring Orwell back again this season. I hoped that we would get a Big Brother After Dark and along with that Orwell, but hadn't happened yet. So my old buddy Orwell's just hanging out with me until someone decides they want him back. So yeah, I'm not gonna go on my way to ask too many times. I'm happy to have him here. All right, let's see. Hey Cliff, which Stetson are you wearing this evening? You know what? There's some people with their hats, they know all the different styles and everything. I don't know that much. I find the hat that I like. Felt hat versus straw hat. And I just don't remember right now exactly what cut of the, because you always style this and you style the crest as well, the crown. I don't know what the official terms are right now. I'd have to go back and look at my stuff on it. I'm picking up based on what's comfortable and what feels good, and it just what fits on my head just right. Shannon saying, who do you stay in touch with the most from your season? Well, Shannon, it's got to be Nicole. I mean, I talk to Nicole all the time. I had her on the show last week, which was a lot of fun. I had so much fun talking to Nicole. We talk about text and DMs and things like that, but to get her on the show was a lot of fun. Now, I talked to a lot of people when I was at the Big Brother boxing match a couple of weeks ago. So I talked to Nick and I talked to David and Jessica at that point. So three of them were there, which was a lot of fun. But who else I talked? Well, now here's the thing. Have y'all been keeping up with some of my season's Big Brother news? You may know that Nick is getting ready to have a baby girl. So he had a baby shower, I guess, just in the last couple of days. I saw some pictures of it just before we came on the show. So congratulations to Nick. I was giving him a hard time while he was at the boxing match, saying, "Yeah, Nick, you bought a house, you're having a baby. Now you just start working on a dad bod just like me." But he was very happy about that, and I'm so happy for him. But the other big news, and you may not have seen this because it just happened like last night. Christy Murphy, my Christy from Big Brother 21, is engaged. She and her girlfriend just last minute decided to take a trip to Paris. Isn't that cool? I've never just said, hey, if I take a last minute trip, it's like, yeah, let's go cross town and go hang out at the lake or something like that. But I've never said, hey, let's just go hop on a plane, fly to Paris. Be cool, but I haven't done it. But that's what they did. Well, apparently maybe it wasn't quite as last minute as Christy thought, because once she got over there, the Eiffel Tower, down near the base of the Eiffel Tower, they had set up a huge picnic spread of teepee all lit up. It was really beautiful. And Christy's girlfriend, Jamie, proposed to her. So now Christy is engaged to be married, and I'm so happy for her. It's so cool. We talked while we were inside the house. I had said, hey, Christy, you ever going to get married? And she said, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Well, now she's engaged. So I'm very happy for Christy. And so go out and find her story on Instagram if you want and look at the pictures. It's very cool. And I'm very happy for them. It's funny. Everyone in that house, some people got along with, some others, it's a game. You compete, and some people get along with better than others and all. But at the end of the day, it was a shared experience. And the other 15 in the house, everything that happens, I don't know. It's just so exciting when I see them enjoying life and enjoying everything that happens with life. So I'll be like that crazy uncle that's always hanging around, that's cheering them on every bit of the way and having a blast doing it. So yeah, congratulations to Christy. It's really pretty cool. Maybe Christy is secretly here outside the door listening to your Cliff Notes. Well, Lawrence, I wouldn't put it past her, but hey, she's welcome to listen in as much as she wants. That's fine with me. I don't have any deep, dark secrets like I did inside the Big Brother house. Isn't that crazy? There's so many people eavesdropping, and I see that some this season, but not nearly as much as I saw during my season. I just feel like we had specialists. There were people who, and maybe they didn't even have to be that special about their eavesdropping. Maybe they just had to be in a house with old Cliff Hogg with a loud voice that I've gotten. You could have been standing on the other side of the house and heard me sometimes, I suppose. But lesson learned. So we got that. What else? I can't wait for Call of Destiny on Friday. Is that what? I'm sorry, trying to read this. I'll come back to it. Coin. Sorry. Why did I think you were talking of a video game or something? I'm thinking of Call of Duty and all those things. Yeah, no. All right, it's Monday. Yeah, give me a little forgiveness here. The coin flip. The coin flip is going to be huge. Y'all. And again, I don't want to get into spoilers. I'm having to be careful, but you're right. There's only a couple of people that can compete in the next week's HOH powers, and of the people who can compete, any of them, I think it's going to be very interesting and really exciting to see what they do with an HOH if they win the power. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Rachel Berry, who do I hope wins a Coin of Destiny comp this week? I can't tell you without throwing out a spoiler. Yeah, I don't know a good way for it. I don't know. In some ways, I don't care. I just want to see someone have power that hasn't already had power in the house. I don't know. Maybe I'll step back from that a little bit. I want to see things shaken up. I want to see a little chaos. I want to see people who feel very confident about how they are in the house right now. I want to see them shaking in their boots a little bit and a little bit nervous about what people are going to do. So I don't know. I don't really care who wins it as long as it's someone that's going to shake things up just a little bit. If Derek X did the roulette wheel, would that save him? We'll never know since he chose not to do the roulette wheel, right? I think I can say that, but I'm not going to go any further next. I don't want to talk about episodes that or things that haven't actually been shown on the episode yet. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm not going to talk spoilers, guys. I see one or two in here. All right. Let's see. Shane, 1178. Football season's almost here. Gators get revenge versus the Aggie in the SEC championship game. I hope so. I'm all for an SEC championship game with my Aggies against the Florida Gators. That would be fine with me. 2 weeks away, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we're playing Kent State here in College Station. My Aggies go back onto the field. I'm excited for it. I'd love to go back and see another game or two and hang out. And we may do it this year. It depends on what's going on with pandemic and all that stuff. I just kept hoping it would be completely gone by now. It's not. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. But I would love to get back and watch some football. But even if I don't, it's going to be on TV. I don't know what I'm going to do this first week or two of September when I've got college football, which I like pro football, but I like college football a lot more. And when I'm watching a whole lot of college football and I'm trying to keep up with Big Brother and the feeds as well, and I'm trying to work and I'm trying to do family, I don't know. I need to clone Cliff Hogg and get – now, how would that be for a twist? We've had the twin twist in Big Brother before. What if you just had two of me inside the house? That may be a little too much for other people in the house, right? Good or bad. They may not be able to handle two old boss hogs, but I'd have fun doing it. So yeah, that'd be cool. All right, let's see. Michelle's asking, how will Xavier eat while he's in seclusion? I thought about that, Michelle. Not only eat, but shower and go to the bathroom and everything else. And I don't know, because we didn't have isolation during my season. We never had that particular punishment, so I don't know exactly how it works. I was trying to remember back, like Dan Giesling, was it when he won his season? He was isolated. That's when he came up with the funeral idea and how to save himself and all. And I can't remember where he was isolated. I think it was in the have-not room, but back then, the have-not room was one of the bedrooms downstairs. It's not like it is nowadays upstairs. It was downstairs where he was locked away, if I recall. And I don't know if I don't know if the other house guests had to bring him food, or maybe production just slid food under the door every once in a while. I don't know. It's the same way with going to the bathroom and everything else. Now, and here's one thing: when we're inside the house, like before a live episode, there's little things that have to be done. I don't know. They change light bulbs, they set up camera angles, they clean the camera lenses. I don't know what they do, because anytime someone had to come into the house to do repairs or fix anything or get set up, they would make us go up to the HOH room, and they'd lock us in. They'd turn off the TV so we couldn't see what was happening downstairs. And we would stay locked in for sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes an hour or two. I mean, it just really depended. And so while we were in the house, we never saw production people running around or anything like that. They kept us locked away during that time period. And I don't know if Xavier, during his isolation, if he would, if they'll make everyone else stay locked in somewhere while they go give them food, while they go let them do a shower or something. I don't know. I don't know how it works. For all I know, there's a secret hallway, and they'll have access to a shower or something that as a contestant I never knew about. I don't know. It's but once I watch the episodes, I think I'll be able to get a decent feel. I'll be able to see where he's at and kind of understand where he may be, even if they've changed the way it looks and everything. And I may have some ideas after it happens. I don't know. I can find out, but it'll be kind of cool. All right, let's see. What else? Lawrence, how long will it take until the cookout is obvious to the other house guest? It's got to be just in the next week or so, right? Here's the thing. You only have, 3 or 4 non-Cookout Alliance people left. You've got Alyssa, Claire, Sarah Beth, and Derek X. Am I leaving anyone out? I don't think so. Assuming that a Cookout Alliance member, non-Cookout Alliance member goes home this week, that means there's only 3 people on the block next week, right? I mean, only 3 people left that aren't in the Alliance. Suddenly, if you're putting 2 people up and maybe one comes off with veto and you've got to put someone else up, it just seems to me that they're going to catch on pretty quick that they're not part of a big alliance. That I don't know. I'm kind of surprised they haven't already identified it. And maybe they have. Maybe there are people in the house who already recognize that maybe something's going on. They just don't have it figured out just enough, or they just don't feel comfortable enough to talk about it with other people because they're not certain yet. Who knows what's going through their minds? But I think it's just a matter of the next week or so they find out. The question is it too late by the time they find out? Is it going to make a difference? I don't know. Maybe it depends a little bit on the twist that we get towards the end of this game. I think it may not make a difference if someone doesn't figure out pretty quick, and it may already not be time. I don't know. Tamika saying, do you think BB Bucks are going to be higher this week to give more people a chance to participate? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know, Tamika. I hadn't thought about that until you mentioned it, because you're right. There's been a big assumption made that there's only a couple of people who are going to be able to compete because of the way BB Bucks are done. But now, that would be incredibly cool. I am so glad you mentioned that, because now you got my mind's going to do that, but that's probably not the term you use, right? You got my mind spinning thinking about that, because, yeah, you could surprise everyone if instead of the top prize being 100, if the top prize was 150, down to 125, down to 100, something like that. I kind of hope so. I think that creates a little bit more uncertainty if suddenly you've got a lot more people who potentially could compete in that particular competition. So I don't know, Tamika, but I like it, and I'm all for it if they choose to do it. The other thing, there may be other opportunities between now and the competition to gain some more Big Brother bucks. There could be an HOH competition. Or here's one. Think about this, and this isn't. I didn't come up with this. I think Hannah inside the house may have come up with it. Someone in the house, and I think it's Hannah. She said, what if the next HOH competition is a slip and slide? And do you remember on the slip and slide, normally you have to fill up a big container, but there's normally a smaller container that you can fill up and you'll win $5,000 or a veto or something else going on. What if this week is the HOH competition is a slip and slide, and the small container, instead of filling it up to win money, you fill it up to win extra BB bucks? Now, how cool would that be? Because when you do that slip and slide, everyone's going to be able to see who is gunning for the extra BB bucks if they're truly wanting to try to get that coin to talk, coup to top power. So you're not going to be able to do it in a secret. Everyone's going to see that if you're going for the extra big brother bucks, they're going to assume that you're doing it because you want to try to compete, that you've got enough money otherwise, or that you're just a little bit short on money. I mean, if you're trying it and you don't win the big bucks because someone else fills up the smaller container first, well, then everyone's going to assume that, all right, well, Cliff's not playing in the coup d'etat because he obviously doesn't have enough big brother bucks to play. So it could be very interesting to see how that happens. I was a little disappointed. During our slip and slide competition, we didn't have the little container. I spent so much time. I'm an engineer. I play with math and numbers all the time. I spent so much time remembering the volume of a globe, of a sphere, and trying to calculate, okay, if I get out there and the big ball is 2 feet across and the little ball is 8 inches across, what's the ratio that tells me that it's better to fill up the small ball to get an advantage to the big ball? I don't know. I had all this stuff going through my mind about how I was going to play the game. And then when I got out there, I realized it's just one big beer stein that we're filling up. And almost immediately, Mickey's next to me, and he takes off. And it took me about 15 seconds to realize that I'm not beating that guy. Ain't a chance in the world I'm beating Mickey. So it's a little disappointed that I didn't have some different options to select when we did our slip and slide. But I'm still glad I got to compete in the slip and slide. Such an iconic competition. Speaking of, y'all saw the episode last week, right? They had the OTEV competition. What did y'all think about OTEV? What did you all think about the Arnold Schwarzenegger? I don't know if that was his real voice or if that was a very good impersonator, but the jacked up jellyfish. It was so cool. I love watching OTEV. It's always such a fun event. I'm so happy that I got to compete in OTEV during my season. Now, as I've said before, I would have rather not played in OTEV and been safe that week, but that's not the way it worked out. If y'all remember, during our season, I was on the block, Kat was on the block, and then Christy went on the block as part of that America's Field Trip twist. So there are actually 3 of us competing in that veto competition for our lives. And I won the first round, and then the second round, I almost won until old Kat Dunn came up past me, grabbed the rope, pushed me a little bit, and made it up to the top. Yeah, right. She was so upset. She was so crying and everything else. It's just a game. I never held it against her at all. But she was so upset with that whole deal. But here's the deal. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of an inside scoop about what happened with OTEV during my season that I don't know if I've ever told anyone this. As you know, before competition, that we're told to go into the storage room to get our costumes for the event, right? So they tell us house guests that are competing in veto, go on to the storage room and get your costumes. Well, we went and got them, and they were these, like, I don't know, multicolored shorts and shirts and everything. And anyway, I get mine, I pull the shorts on, and as soon as I pull them on, I realize that, man, these are kind of loose. I mean, loose enough that I'm afraid my pants are just going to slide off in the middle of the competition. I'm going to be sitting there kind of showing more than I planned to show to the entire world watching that thing on TV. So I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, you couldn't size this a little bit better. And they're, well, Cliff, it is what it is. And so they're ready to go outside. We're ready to find out what the competition's going to be. And I'm thinking, man, my pants are going to fall off. This is going to be horrific. So I quickly ran back into my bedroom, the target room, grabbed one of my swimsuits, and one of the swimsuits had one of those white drawstrings at the top. I was able to pull out that drawstring, quickly thread it through those pants and tie it off in the front, tie it up super tight so that I had a makeshift belt, because otherwise it would have been quite the interesting OTEV experience for me. Because, it was just super loose. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was losing a little weight while I was in the house because of the way I was eating, not eating a bunch of McDonald's and things like that. I don't know. But, yeah, that was a little scary when I thought they were going to make me go out and compete like that. So, there you go. Little inside scoop. All right, Rachel's saying, you think having have-nots should be eliminated when people volunteer expecting it feels like it's run its course. Yeah, I don't want it eliminated necessarily, but I want it changed. Just the slot by itself isn't enough anymore. People feel too comfortable with it. I would like for them to go back, either get rid of the slop or change it up a little bit. I don't know if you could make it any worse. I mean, people are pretty miserable with it. I think there needs to be more punishment, such as when you're a have-not, you can't go out into the backyard. or when you're a have-not, you can't come downstairs from the hours of midnight till 6 in the morning or something, where you suddenly aren't able to go out and enjoy the outdoors, or you aren't able to go interact with other people as much as you'd like to, where it really starts affecting your game plan, your gameplay. Because right now, eating slop, well, whatever. It doesn't really affect you from a gameplay standpoint. If there's some punishment where you can't interact with people, then suddenly it becomes a lot worse. And I think people would not want to be have-nots nearly as often as they seem to be volunteering now. So yeah, I don't want to get rid of it completely, but I'd like to see them change it up a little bit, just to make it so the people, when they're have-not, they go, oh my God, how am I ever going to handle it? This is going to be horrible. It's going to be miserable. That's what I want to see. I want to see people begging, please don't make me a have-not, whatever. I can't afford to be a have-not this week. And we don't see that much nowadays. Lawrence is saying better to give real oatmeal instead of slop. Real oatmeal would be a piece of cake. That wouldn't be a big deal. You know, in the old days, when they first did Big Brother, you didn't have, well, maybe you had slop, but you also had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and some other punishments. You know, you could only eat sardines and pickles, things like that. They'll probably never go back to peanut butter and jelly because of peanut allergies, things like that. But yeah, it's kind of a little more fun in the old. Remember, in the old days, you had to compete for your food. It's not like now where you get all the steaks and tuna, you know, all the fancy stuff and everything. Back then, you just had the most basic staples of food, and then you would have to do competitions to try to increase your budget or to win specialty foods for every week. I kind of would like to see him bring some of that back instead, or in addition to that. All right, what else we got going on? Kelly Hogdorn saying, when does Zingbot make his debut? I don't know. I was trying to remember that with ours. I feel like with ours, we were probably final 7 when we had Zingbot, I think, because I remember Jessica was still there and she was final 7. So I think it was the final 7. So we're probably 2 weeks or so away from it. Seems like last year with All-Stars, Zingbot may have shown up just a little bit earlier. So I would expect probably not this week, probably not next week, but maybe the week after. Something like that. I'm excited. I'm kind of curious to see what Zingbot does to go after these people. I think, you know, Zingbot can be pretty brutal. And I'm not going to throw out individual names because that wouldn't be good. But there's a few people I'd really like to see how Zingbot goes after him and exactly what Zingbot has to say. All right. Let's see. Donna Parker Gates. Who has the best resume at this point? All right. I'm going to tell you the best resume. I think the best resume, not necessarily who I think is going to win, but who has the best resume, probably Tiffany. And right after Tiffany, probably Kylan. I think those two have had more power in the game, which is funny because Tiffany hasn't won anything. All right? She hasn't had official power, but she's a puppet master. She has been involved in so many decisions. She's kind of responsible for a lot of the Cookout Alliance, the structure of the Cookout Alliance. I think she has done so much behind the scenes work. And if she makes it to a final 2, I think she's going to get out there and say, look, I did this. And I think she's got an amazing resume. And then you've got Kylan, who's won a couple of HOHs and has been strong in other competitions. So I think he's strong as well. Now, I said they've got the best resume, but that doesn't mean I think they're making it to the final 2 chairs. With Tiffany, I think people are going to start recognizing, I think they're already recognizing that she is quite the manipulator. And I think people are going to be very nervous about sitting in a seat next to Tiffany. So I could see them sending her home a little early just because she's so much of a threat. And because she has such a strong resume, they don't want to go up against her. I think Tiffany's playing a fantastic game. There's a week or two where I feel like she has played just a little too hard and she's rubbed some people the wrong way. I mean, look at her and Big D. They do not get along. If Derek gets an HOH, he'll do what he can to protect the Cookout Alliance for now. But once all the non-Cookout people are gone, he's gunning for Tiffany. He's going to do whatever he can to send her out the door. So I don't know if Tiffany makes it to final 2, but I definitely think that she's playing the best game so far. God, this cough, guys. All right, let's see how it was. Candace, think they should go back to the food and luxury competitions. Me too. I want to see it. Because here's the thing. One, competing for the food and luxury, I mean, that's nice just because you've got so much riding on the line and it just makes it more fun as viewers to even watch it. But here's the other deal. We've got this big Cookout Alliance, but what if they went back to the old days where you may have you may be split up into teams that aren't along alliance numbers, where suddenly some of the Cookout Alliance is on one side, some's on the other side, and now these 2 or 3 teams are competing. One team's getting steak and lobster, the other team is getting bologna and cheese sandwiches for the next week. Well, now suddenly you're forcing the big alliance people to work with some of the people that aren't in alliances and to go against the people they may be tight with. I just think those luxury comps and the food comps force people to shake it up a little bit in terms of their teams. Right now, when every competition has to do with straight up gameplay, nominations, vetoes, things like that, it's very easy just to stay focused. Stay in your lane, buddy, and stay focused right on what you need to do in order to further your alliance's goals. But when you split up into different kinds of teams, some of that maybe gets thrown out the window, and then you may have some bad feelings result. I just think you stir things up a little bit when you do that. Window Wendy, offer more Big Brother bucks if people take a punishment. Yes, I want to see more punishments like that. Y'all remember in old days there were punishments, where you go on slop for the rest of the season, or where you're willing to shave your head. Of course, Big D and Xavier, that doesn't really hurt them to shave their heads, right? But now can you picture a punishment where you have Azza or Tiffany, where they feel like they're on the block, their game is threatened, but then they're told the only way for you to survive is to shave your head? They would have a fit. And it probably wouldn't be fair when you've got them facing so much more punishment from something like that than Big D or Xavier. So we're not going to see that, but can you picture someone having to make that kind of decision in order to survive in the game? Now, me, I'd shave my head in a heartbeat. Of course, for me, it wouldn't be a big issue anyway, but I thought about that while I was in the house. I thought, is there a punishment that they could offer that would be so severe that I would not take it, even if it meant not winning the game of Big Brother? And I can't think of anything. I mean, I guess if they said, Cliff, you're going to have to tattoo, put a tattoo on your face or something, kind of like Mike Tyson. Well, maybe I'd have to think about that. But you know what? For $500,000, you can tattoo a lot of things on my body, and I'd probably say I'm okay with it. I don't know if there's anything they could offer that would be so severe that I wouldn't say, hey, if it keeps me in the game, I'm going for it, guys. But yeah, I'd love to see some punishments. And you're right, even if it wasn't something as severe as that, if it was Big Brother bucks in exchange, there's lots of ways they could have some fun with it. We only have one more week of that twist, so it may not be enough time to offer as much as we've talked about. We need to be talking to those producers a little bit early, right? And giving them some hints and some suggestions on how they need to be taking care of some of this business. I'm sure they'd love to hear from us, right? Because that's what they want is unrequested suggestions on how to make the game better. I'm sure they hear enough of that on social media. All right, let's see. David Buchanan. Tiffany is playing a Danielle Reyes type game. Yes, absolutely. Now, I didn't see Danielle's season. That was the golden age that I've just never – I need to go back and watch those. And I've tried to, but I'm so spoiled by high-definition TV, it makes it tough to go back and watch the standard def stuff from the earlier seasons. But, yeah, everything I understand about the way Danielle played, I agree 100%. And it's a brilliant game. I mean, if she makes it to the final two and she wins this thing, props to her, and she absolutely deserves it because she has controlled this game. It is amazing that she hasn't won anything, and yet she has had so much control throughout this entire season. That may change. I expect it to change, but for now, man, she is the puppet master, right? And it's been fun to watch. All right, let's see. Donna, looking back, do you like the team component of Big Brother? I don't know. I do, in that it forced, because in my season, for example, you had an alliance where you had Mickey and Jack, the two big old strong guys, formed an alliance, and they went out of their way to pick a couple of more people within their alliance that they thought were also going to be very strong at competition, such as Bella. They picked Bella right off the bat because, in fact, I think they picked Bella before they even picked Nick to be part of that alliance because they saw her as being a very strong female. So I didn't like that alliance because all the strong people were on their side. Not that myself and Nicole and Jessica weren't strong players, but it is what it is. But yeah, by having the teams, you kept that from happening this season. You didn't have a Christian and a Travis and a Xavier all in a single alliance fighting. Where they had so much strength and athleticism all in one small alliance where they could really dominate the game. So normally I would like the team concept because I felt like it split those guys up and it kept the 4 teams a little bit more balanced. But it's kind of a different season because of the Cookout Alliance. Even though you split the teams up, you still had this unifying force that brought the Cookout Alliance together, and it's kind of gotten beyond, kind of done what the teams were designed maybe to keep from happening, which was developing another decently big-sized alliance. So I don't know. I don't dislike the teams. I like the idea of it. I just don't know if it worked quite as well as they expected it to. But here's the other thing. Those teams from the first few weeks, we're still seeing the effects of it going forward. We're still seeing Brittany and Big D and Ozza very tight with each other because they were on a team together. We're still seeing Sarah Beth and Xavier kind of having some connections, along with Alyssa and Xavier having some connections because they were part of Team Kings. So even though the team's part is gone, we still see some alliances and some loyalties that were created during those first few weeks of the season. It seems like so long ago. Can y'all believe it? We're on night 47, day 47 or 48? It's hard to believe it's been 6 weeks since this season started. It doesn't seem that long ago, but in some ways it does. But yeah, so no, I think I like the team concept. Not every season, but I like that they're trying to do some things to keep these big alliances from forming. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now, Kelly Hagerns. Cliff never made it to the jury house. He got into a sequestered house instead. I missed the comment that you must be, Moss saying that to Kelly. Yeah, Kelly, in the big BB jury house, what's it like? First of all, before I do that, Kelly's asking, what week did you do the battle back? The battle back for me was night number 30. So what's that, week number 4? We lost David on week 1, then we lost Kimmy, or OV, then Kimmy, and then I was week 30 and got back into the house. So yeah, much earlier. We were pre-jury battle back on ours. Chris, your boy, who would you consider a legend in the game of Big Brother? How do I even start with that, Chris? It depends on how you define legends. I mean, obviously you've got the players who won so much or did so well. Derek and Dan Giesling, certainly amazing players. You got people that were such characters in the house. Brittany Haynes, oh my gosh, incredible. So I don't know. And then you got people that were kind of the hardcore villains, like an Evil Dick. So you got a lot of people that are considered legends in the game for a whole lot of different reasons. Here's the thing. I could spend the next 30 minutes talking about who I consider legends, and I'd probably still leave out names. So I'll leave it at that. I admire the people who play the very strategical games that they can be cutthroat. They don't have to be the nicest people in the world. I just like the people who are very focused and play without a lot of emotion, but just play the straight-up strategy. And Derek and Dan fit in with that, but they're easy answers because everyone throws them out as well. So, I don't know. All right, Kelly, getting back to the Big Brother Jury House. Yeah, I never got to experience it because I was the 4th place finisher. And by the time I got evicted, instead of sending me to the jury house, they sent me to a different sequester spot because as soon as I was evicted, the next night we did the jury roundtable. And then we were getting ready for the finale, which was the very next week. And they just didn't think it was worth sending me all the way out to wherever. I don't know where the jury house is, but I assume it's way out in the hills somewhere. It looked really cool. I've seen the videos of it. It looked like a fantastic place to hang out. But yeah, I never got to hang out with the rest of the cast in the jury house, which was a little tough because they all got a chance to kind of hang out with each other in a non-gameplay type standpoint, just hanging out to have fun with each other. I didn't do that. I was in a house where everything was brutal and cutthroat and stressful. And then I was off on my own in sequester until the finale. And then after the finale, I was with my family. I didn't go hang out in Vegas with them and all of that. So I didn't get as much chance to hang out with the other jury members and the rest of the cast as most of them did, which is okay. I mean, I'd much rather hang with my family. I love my other 15 house guests, but I was ready to be with my family and not them for a while. So yeah, I never got to experience the jury house. The one thing I got to say I probably didn't experience while I played Big Brother was the jury house. And I'm okay with that. I'd rather stay in the house as long as I did, as long as I could. All right, let's see. What else do we have in here? Michelle, do they drink alcohol often? And where does Big D smoke? All right, well, here's the thing. First of all, in terms of smoking, it is my understanding that Big D has run out of cigarettes. I think that's the case. If y'all see him smoking away, let me know. But I think he's out of cigarettes by now. One of the rules when you're packing for Big Brother is you're allowed, if you're a smoker, you're allowed to carry in as many cigarettes as you want, as many as will fit in your suitcase. But we were all told that once those cigarettes run out, that's it. We're not giving you new. That's the end of it. Now, if you want nicotine patches, things like that, we'll help you out, but you're not getting any more cigarettes. It didn't matter for my season because no one in my cast smoked, and I was so happy with that. Absolutely, perfectly happy. At least they didn't smoke in the house. But I know Derek F is a smoker, and now I think he's out, so that's a little tough. As far as the drinking alcohol, if you win HOH, normally you get like a 6-pack of beers or a couple of bottles of wine, and that you can do with as you want. I got my beer, and I used it as bartering. I would give it to some people I was trying to kiss up to a little bit, just to try to get a little more friendly with them. I know I gave Sis a can of beer and said, you deserve it. I think it's when she was doing the chicken coop or something. So I use this kind of bartering things to try to get in tighter with other people. But some people just, drink it because they're enjoying it and all that. We also get beers and some wine every once in a while, but it's entirely up to Big Brother. And we are always told if you ask for it, you're probably going to take even longer before you get it because they didn't want us nagging them all the time. So you just would have to kind of wait. And every once in a while you'd hear, hey, house guests, go check the storage room. And we'd go in there and there'd be some beer and wine and we'd all be happy. There was never a lot. Usually it's like 1 can of beer per person and some wine to be split among 3 or 4 people, something like that. So, yeah, I guess in the old days, they gave a whole lot more of all of that. I guess they don't want us to get too tipsy while we're in there because the emotions and the stresses are already running high. Who knows what you get if you gave too much all at once. Wow, that's already 7:53. It's amazing how time flies. But anyway, let's see what else. Lawrence, were you the last person Julie's ever hugged on Big Brother? Oh, that'd be pretty cool if that was the case. But no, I don't think so. I know she hugged Nicole when Nicole came out of the house as a 3rd place finisher. And I assume that I'm trying to remember. I talked to Julie after the finale once the show wrapped. I talked to her for just a little bit because I remember asking her if there was going to be a celebrity Big Brother. Yeah, no, that's me. I'm the Big Brother fan. I'm through the house. And I'm immediately saying, Julie, are we getting celebrity Big Brother? And I remember at the time she said, yeah, no, we're probably not. We're going to let Winter Olympics do their thing, and then we'll come in afterwards and do something. But I don't remember if she was giving a lot of hugs after the season finale or not. But so I know I wasn't the last, but I was one of the last, which is kind of cool. It was cool meeting Julie when we went into the house at the very start of the season. Yeah, I'm so nervous. I see Julie, it's like, oh my gosh, I guess I really am going on TV and all that. So that was cool, but she was across the stage from us, and she was talking to all of us at once, so it wasn't really a personal conversation. So we go inside, but then when I'm evicted, unfortunately, I'd rather have not been talking to Julie that week, but it is what it is. But sitting right there next to Julie, and she's asking me questions, and during commercial breaks, she's talking to me. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. Did y'all know she originally did not want to do Big Brother? Originally, Julie Chen wanted to go on 60 Minutes. And they asked her to do Big Brother instead. And she said, well, no, I don't want to do it because that's considered the entertainment division. I want to stay with the news division. And whoever was heading up programming and stuff at the time for CBS said, well, if we ask you to do something and you don't do it, that's just almost insubordination. And they kind of let it be known that if she wanted to continue her career, she probably needed to do Big Brother instead of 60 Minutes. And so she said yes. She was one of 2 hosts the first season, in fact. The other one only stayed about a month or so, and then they said, yeah, we're okay just with Julie. But Julie stayed with it. Who would have thought 21 years later she's still doing it? I'm sure she's happy now with the choice she made. And I mean, how cool to be a host for this show for 21 years. But there you go. So a little Julie inside scoop that I learned just recently. All right, what else, guys? I just have a couple of minutes, so we're going to have to shut it down pretty quick. God, so many stories I'd love to tell. But anyway. All right, let's see. Rachel saying, are there rules about strategizing? Oh, and I just lost it. Sorry. Are there rules about strategizing when house guests know the cameras are off? Memphis and Christmas always referred to laundry time last summer, which was assumed to be the time they knew feeds were off. Yes, Rachel, here's the deal. We're not really allowed to strategize when the cameras are off. And I'll just give you some examples. In the morning, they would play usually three songs, just 3 tunes for us to wake us up. And that would be, they'd say, all right, y'all, go change your batteries out in the storage room and just wake up. You got to get up, guys. And so they'd play the music to help inspire us to get up out of bed. But the rule always was, if you start talking game while we're playing the music, we're going to stop the music. And everyone's going to know that you are the reason they're not getting music this morning. So there was the peer pressure. If you talk game and you didn't get the music that morning, then everyone's going to give you dirty looks for the rest of the day. Same way in the HOH. As I mentioned, sometimes we would be locked up there while they were doing maintenance downstairs or getting ready for the live episode. And they play music for us up there as well. But it's the same thing. If you talk strategy, if you talk game while you're in there, we're going to stop the music. We're going to call you out by name and say, you're not allowed to talk strategy. We're going to make you sit there without music for a while, and everyone's going to be upset with you. So, yeah, there were very much rules that you couldn't strategize kind of off camera. And they're saying there's a camera in the bathroom, but we are always told no one's watching that camera unless two of y'all go in there at the same time and you start talking game, and then we're going to be watching and we're going to be recording as well. So, yeah, there very much were rules that you were supposed to be only talking about it while cameras were potentially on. All right, David's saying, are you informed when the cameras are off? No, not at all, David. Not a clue. The only time we know the cameras are off is when they're playing the music. And that's it. I mean, that's really it. And you spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of time. I mean, sometimes you know the cameras are on because they're following you around everywhere and things like that. I'd get up in the morning. I'd know the cameras are on me. But there's other times where you didn't know. And there were times where it's funny because there were times where I would try to say or do something that I thought was somewhat big news. Talking to Nicole, we need to do this or we need to do that. Or if I was like suddenly rushing around and I'd watch the cameras. And if the cameras followed me, then I'd think, okay, well, I'm obviously maybe one of the more important things going on in the house right now. But there were other times where I was moving around, trying to eavesdrop or something, and the cameras weren't moving. And at that time, I always wondered, is there a big conversation going on up in the HOH room? Or is there stuff going on outside that's more important than anything I'm doing? So sometimes the cameras not moving would be a hint that maybe I need to go somewhere else and try to listen in on some people. Now, it could be they just had the cameras trained on me from behind one of those mirrored walls, and that's all they needed at the time. But yeah, we never knew whether the cameras were on you, on someone else, or turned off completely. We never had a clue. We really didn't. Chickadee Kenny, were you able to sing while the songs are playing? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I was a big singer. I'd get in the shower. I'd sing the songs. There was one song, Lovely Day by Bill Withers. Some of y'all know it. Some of you don't. If you don't know it, go find Lovely Day. It's one of my favorite songs. They played that one morning. And I went running into the RV room and told, I think Christy and Sis were in there. I don't remember who else. And I yelled at them and said, this is one of my favorite songs. And I sang the entire song just standing there. I gave a little solo performance. And they said, yeah, I guess you do like that song. So anyway, yeah, you could sing along as much as you wanted. And I certainly did that. All right, we got to shut it down. I'm going to give y'all one real quick one. The very first day I was in the house, they played music. And I didn't realize that they played music to wake you up. All of a sudden, the music just came on. And it was some song, y'all probably know it. I didn't know at the time about what would I buy if I was a gazillionaire or a millionaire or something. I'd buy this, I'd buy that. And it's a pop tune, a popular song. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was part of the game. And so everyone else is just kind of dancing around. I'm over there trying to listen and remember everything that's being said because I thought it was part of a competition that, I'm going to buy a monkey. I'm going to buy a giant house. And I was trying to remember everything that this singer is talking about because I thought it was a twist of some sort in the game. No, it's just a song they're playing. So you learn as you go through the house itself. All right, one final question, and we're going to shut this down. Lauren, are you surprised there's been no Wallers this year? Is it more security? Yeah, I hadn't thought about it until you brought it up. But, yeah, you would think someone would be yelling something about the cookout lines, right? Somewhere along the way. So you're right. Maybe it is more security watching those walls. I don't know. I wonder because now they've got that little balcony that we didn't have, and they can actually be upstairs. And I even wonder if maybe they put more stuff on the outside of the house, some kind of giant bafflers for noise. I don't know. It probably is just security. There's probably some bad, mean-looking people walking back and forth across outside that house, keeping an eye on people, right? So yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but as you mentioned, I am surprised that we haven't had wall yellers this season because there's plenty they could spoil, right? All right, guys, we're gonna shut it down. It's 8:01. I got to shut it down, but so much fun. I love talking Big Brother with y'all. I love talking everything with y'all. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for your comments. It's so much more fun when I get questions. I get to go back and forth with y'all. So thank you for that. Y'all have a fantastic Monday night. Y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. This is the last full week of August, and then we're into September and fall. And it's amazing how quick this year's gone. Y'all have a fantastic one. Give your loved ones a hug, guys. SKD143. I love my wife, love my kids, love all the reality fans around the world. I certainly love y'all, and thank you so much for sitting in. Y'all have a great week. Cheers, my friends.